Hi everybody, old Gare out at Beaver Lake today, down below the dam, fishing with my old buddy Richard Lee Rusher from the Custom Adventure Guide Service. And wow, we're getting ready to go fishing down below the dam on Beaver Lake. A lot of water here, isn't it?
There's a lot.
A lot of water.
Like 75 or 7,600 cubic feet of water.
Wow.
Coming through.
You were here yesterday and I know you caught a huge smallmouth, over 4 pounds.
Yeah.
You caught a bunch of walleye. So you don't know what we're going to catch out here. The trout fishing's been good.
Yep.
And Richard Lee, you've been catching above average trout right now.
Yeah, right now with the floodgates being open and the shad coming over, a lot of the big trout have pushed up here, and we're catching a lot of trout in the slot limit. A lot of the 13 to 16 inches.
Oh boy, that's fun. That's fun. So we have a great show for you today. Good reports, and magically we're going to go back to the fishing shack. So don't go anywhere. We'll be back later with Lisa and Richard Lee here in just a little bit. Hopefully show you some good old trout, maybe a walleye. Who knows what we're going to catch. So Kathy, cyberspace us back to the old fishing chums fishing shack. Wow, Richard Lee Rusher, man, that was a lot of fun down below the dam at Beaver. Golly, we had a lot of fun with Custom Adventure Fishing Guide Service. In fact, we had a special treat while we were there. When we first put in down below the dam, we were just starting to fish, then the sirens went off. Kathy's going to roll that, then all of a sudden the water started rolling out of the dam. That was a lot of fun. Let's take a look at that right quick. Boy, that was a lot of water coming down through there, but we had a lot of fun and caught a lot of fish. You know what we caught our fish on? Instead of casting, we had to start trolling for them. And there's some above average sized trout down below the dam at Beaver. And we were using, in fact Carla was using, a jointed flicker shad. A jointed flicker shad number 5, I believe, either a 5 or a 7. And look at this picture with the dam in the background. That's one of the photos of the week. We have 2 photos of the week this week, and this was photo of the week number 1 with Carla with this beautiful photo. Absolutely gorgeous. And then we kind of worked out a little bit, and Carla caught this nice brown trout. And boy, I tell you what, she was really battling those fish. Caught a lot of fish on this trip. And so again, I have to thank the Custom Adventure Guide Service and Lisa, the owner of the Custom Guides, along with Richard Lee Rusher. I talked to her on this final bit, then we'll be getting into her fishing report. Okay, Lisa. Hey everybody, I told you I was going to visit with Lisa. We was out with the Custom Guide Service today. We had a ball. We caught a bunch of trout, and I tell you what, above average size trout.
We couldn't keep them. They were in the slot limit, in between 13 and 16 inches.
Yeah, we had some 15s today. We had some 15 inches.
14,
fat fish.
They're full of shad.
Hey, I know you have a great guide service. I was just visiting with Richard Lee about it. But how about your resort, your hotel you guys have?
Oh, we have Sugar Ridge Resort that's just on top of the hill here. And yeah, it has a 180-degree view of Beaver Lake.
Wow.
And
hot
it's
tubs.
awesome. Yes, hot tubs right in the windowsill.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what's the name of it again?
Sugar Ridge Resort.
Sugar Ridge Resort. When you're coming here, you need to get a hold of Custom Adventures Guide Service. Stay at the lodge, and boy, you won't be disappointed. No. We caught a bunch of fish today, above average.
Beautiful out there. I mean, even if you don't catch fish, it's beautiful.
It's gorgeous. You bet.
All right,
Lisa. See you next trip.
All right.
All right. Well, thank you, Lisa. Thank you very much. And Carl and I want to come back. You invited us. We're going to do that once again down below Beaver and stay at your beautiful lodge, too. Looking really forward to that. Great people. So if you folks are looking for a wonderful trout, they not only catch trout, but I wanted to show you a couple of quick photos here. Richard Lee was out the day before we got there, and look at this beautiful smallmouth that he caught. So they catch smallmouth on occasion, and look at this young man that he had out the other day and caught this nice walleye. In fact, they caught several walleye the day before we got there. This particular day we didn't catch any walleye, but we really caught a lot of nice trout. So if you're looking for really a wonderful fishing trip, get a hold of the Richard Lee Rusher and the Custom Adventure guide service with Lisa. You're going to have a ball. All right, let's get to fishing reports now. Not only are the trout very good down below the dam, but they've been catching some stripers. I know the Hooked on Fishing Guide Service, Sing was out the other day, and look at these beautiful stripers that he got into. So at times, I know they're hunting for them, the water's high, but when they do get on them, these guys really get into the stripers and some hybrids, and so check these guys out as well. All right, let's go on to Table Rock. By the way, the beaver temperature above the main lake was 76 degrees this morning, and out on the river I think it was in the 60s, so makes quite a difference. A lot of cool water down below that dam, that's for sure. All right, let's go to Table Rock, 75 degrees on the surface, and been a little tough fishing at Table Rock overall. I know some of the boys are getting up way at dark 30 and getting out and throwing some topwater baits. I tell you, spooks can pay off. Some people are getting back on some of the banks and using buzz baits. I tell you what, the pop-Rs are working well, but you have to get up early in the morning for the most part. Not saying a little pocket of rebels might come up anywhere at any time and you might be able to catch a fish or two. Morning's been the best bet. But overall, I think the fishing's been a little tough for all that high water and that drawdown. And I know before we went on to air, Wednesday night they had a big rain, I understand, in Springfield, so the James River I'm sure is going to be flowing big again. And no matter where you're at on Table Rock this weekend, watch for debris, that's for sure. And if you're not topwater fishing, just going to go out and do a little potluck fishing. I've had reports on the gravel banks, gravel points. You might catch a fish on a Ned rig. You might pick up some fish on swim baits, been pitching jigs and some of the new brush. But I think overall you're going to have to work at it. Few crappie are being caught, but few and far in between, mainly around some of the docks. White bass, you never know when they may come up on the points, maybe do a little surfacing, but they have been coming up on the flats and the points. All right, let's go out to Taneycomo. The water temperature out there was 57 degrees today. Look at the other day, Bobby Carter caught out at the Trout Hollow Trout Dock, caught this beautiful 9.5-pound brown trout. And he ended up catching a limit of trout and right off the dock there in that area at Trout Hollow Resort. Now there's a lot of water running down through there right now, so it could be a little bit difficult, but some people are using the correct drifting rigs and trying to slow it down, and they've been using half night crawlers and some minnows and picking up some fish out there. So check it out this upcoming weekend, but a lot of water flowing through Lake Taneycomo. Let's go out to Bull Shoals. Water temperature was 75 degrees out there this morning. A lot of water at Bull Shoals, no doubt about this, a lot of water. But I know they have had a little bit of a topwater bite in the early morning and late evening hours. They've been picking up some fish on spooks. They've been picking up some fish on buzz baits and occasionally getting into them on like the pop-R baits. And if you do get into them, usually they're really nice fish. In fact, look at Tracy Rowe was out the other day and caught this 20-pound striper out at Beaver. Beautiful fish. And Dennis Hewlett was out the other day and had this beautiful limit of walleye out of the Bull Shoals boat dock. And so some nice walleye can be caught out at Bull Shoals. But getting into the bass, a lot of water out there. They've been picking up some fish on swim baits, finding big schools of shad for the most part, swim baits, maybe some jerk baits, and throwing some jigs as well. So try Bull Shoals. You have to fight the water, but boy, if you get into them at the right place at the right time, you can catch some fish. Let's go out to Stockton. The water temperature is 73 degrees, and this is going to be our co-photo of the week. Ash Orbert was out the other day with his kids crappie fishing on Stockton. Look at this beautiful pickup load of fish with a pickup load of good-looking kids. And did they ever have fun out at Stockton the other day? Our co-photo of the week. Thank you very much, Tracy. That's wonderful. Kyle McMillan was out the other day and caught a nice limit of walleye. I think he's night fishing out there. Kyle's a big old chummer, and thank you very much for that, Kyle. And let's see what else is. My buddy Jeff Deckert was out, and I understand the crappie bite is still fairly good up in the Big Sac River arm. I don't know what all this rain's going to do, but they have been catching some crappie shallow, and I've heard of people catching crappie out at Stockton deep, and they're still picking up walleye. Boy, some limits of walleye have been caught up on the points anywhere from shallow 8 or 10 feet of water down to 25, 30 feet of water. Just get up there on those points, go point hopping with your electronics, and get out there with flicker shads and troll if you have to, if you find the fish suspended. If not, go to a jig and night crawler and just kind of work it up the bank. You could catch some fish out at Stockton this upcoming weekend. Okay, let's go out to Pomme de Terre. It's 74 degrees out there this morning. Our friend Eric Massey was out the other day. Look at this mess of crappie that he caught. Some of the crappie can still be caught shallow out at Pomme de Terre. Others can be deeper, so experiment. If you don't find them shallow, get down around 15 to 20 feet of water, so around some of the brush and timber, and you could catch some crappie out at Pomme de Terre. Bass fishing's been fair. They've been picking up some fish a little bit in the morning on a topwater bite, and they've been picking up some fish on floating plastic worms around some of the timber, or brush I should say, and throwing jigs and some swim baits out at Pomme de Terre. Let's go out to Truman. That water temperature was around 74 degrees this morning. Tom Clark, our chummer, was back out the other day. He catches them all the time. Look at these two of the many crappie that he caught out at Truman the other day. Good going, Tom. Jim Murphy was out the other day. Beautiful crappie, my friend. And Sierra, boy, you're always catching those big cats. Look at this big cat she caught here the other day. I believe on cut shad drifting the flats, I believe. But Sierra, you always catch those big fish. Good going. Okay, let's go out to Lake the Ozarks. Dan Steele was out the other day, and look at these nice crappie that he caught. Boy, they're still catching crappie out at Lake the Ozarks, and Lisa Markle caught this really beautiful bass. Let's back up just a little bit. I got ahead of myself talking about the crappie out at Truman. Kind of back up, they're still catching fish in the creek areas. Some of these fish are all related to structure, whether it be standing pole timber or the brush piles or cedar trees. They're in the structure, could be around 10 to 12 feet of water. Experiment on your depth. Jig and minnows. Minnows work real well out at Truman. And by the way, the bass fishing's been good at Truman as well. They've been picking up some fish on spinner baits, some crankbait fishing, swim baits, and throwing jigs. Pretty well the pattern, isn't it? Okay, let's go. Lisa, that was a good fish out at Lake of the Ozarks. And Dan, beautiful photos. Now for the crappie, they're still catching crappie at times shallow, but they are starting to move out a little bit deeper. And don't overlook the docks. I've had good reports of dock fishing out there, and they've been picking up some fish, mainly swimming jigs and shooting the docks. Other people have been pitching up minnows or jigging minnows and letting them fall and picking up fish around some of the docks, and also out on the main lake off the points and secondary points. Find some brush, that will be ideal. And back about halfway back into some of the coves if you can find some brush piles. So crappie fishing can be good out at Lake the Ozarks. Norfolk, the water temperature 77, a little warmer there south, and they've been picking up some walleye out there. The lake is high. They're letting a lot of water out of the lake right now, but they can get into the walleye occasion, and also the stripers. They've been picking up some stripers out on the flats, and mainly on live baits or spoons, and the crappie fishing is still pretty good out there as well. When they do get into the crappie at Norfolk, they're really nice size. So that's a pretty quick report for you today. It's a little difficult with all this high water, but it's get out and make the best of it and get rid of all this rain and get these lakes down. That's what we need. I want to thank all of our people on YouTube for joining us. And if you'd like to join us on YouTube, just go over there, go to Fishing Chums Fishing, and subscribe. There you go, subscribe. There you go, Kathy. And then if you have any photos you want to send us, go to our email. Email us at fishingchums@gmail.com, and be sure to like and share. For our people that are watching us over on Facebook, we have thousands of viewers watching us on Facebook. In fact, last week we had near 15 to 16,000 views once again. God bless you all, you chummers. We really appreciate it. And over on Facebook, be sure to like and share and join our group. I tell you what, we have a wonderful group out there, hundreds of viewers, and we kind of share information with each other. We have a great time, and that's a good place for you folks to send your photos to get on Fishing Chums, is our Fishing Chums group on Facebook. So God bless you all. Boy, I tell you what, I hope we have a nice weekend for the weather. Fight the water, watch the debris, and we'll be back next week. If I don't see you out on the water this weekend, I'll see you right back here next week. Love you all. Happy outdoors. Kathy, roll those wonderful photos.